What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, May 6, 2019. Right off the bat, sorry if there's an echo. I'm moving out of this. We're moving out of our house and clearing out my office. This is probably my last live stream in this office. So I don't have any of my sound padding. It's just weird in here. So I'm sorry for the echo. But yeah, I want to talk about Bitcoin. I just tweeted, right? Because I saw Bitcoin trading at around $5,700. And I told myself I'm just going to keep an eye on it for a little bit. What's up, everybody? If you're a replay viewer, you can go right to the timestamps in the pinned comment. So I saw Bitcoin trading at like $5,700, and I told myself, let's see, where's a 4-hour chart? Here's a 4-hour chart. Nothing crazy, right? But I told myself if it approaches 6,000, I want to watch that. And I figured, I saw it happen, so I figured I'd go live. It approached it, and then it quickly fleeted in the other direction. So 59.72 on this chart. And I tweeted right when it was happening, Bitcoin getting ready to attack $6,000. It was when I tweeted that, it was 59.41. I mean, it was literally within the last hour. So I figured I'd do a quick live stream and talk about it. You know, everybody's going to be watching this. Everybody's probably watching it now. The thing is, I want to throw this out there. I'm extremely happy that I'm not wondering what I should do right now. Because these charts where Bitcoin is trading right now is incredibly difficult from a technical analysis standpoint to... First off, on this channel, especially the way I do technical analysis, I'm never sitting here trying to predict what's going to happen, right? I'm always trying to find maybe the best likelihoods of a certain direction. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at the potential for targets to the upside and downside. But in an environment where you're really trying to predict, which many people are literally trying to predict, and they're trying to time this market. They're always trying to time this market. In that world, in that environment, I feel extremely bad for you. Because even the best of the best have trouble with this chart right now. First off, it's incredibly volatile, right? But when we're looking even at momentum oscillators and we're looking at the mental aspect of $6,000, it gets very difficult to guess what's going to happen. I've been saying for a while, I'm anticipating most strongly, right? If that's like the nice way to say prediction, I'm anticipating most strongly a pullback, right? In the 30% range. But that's just me, right? And that's kind of, we can talk about that a little bit in this video. Look at some momentum oscillators, look at the charts. It has to do with historical data. It has to do with the momentum of Bitcoin. But it's also, from my perspective, something that I'm most keenly waiting for, because that's when I'll actually take action if we get a move like that, right? So I want to make sure I'm ready for that scenario, because that's where I'm taking action. The other scenario is if Bitcoin continues up, breaks 6,000, right? The other scenario is, what are you going to do? For me, I don't take action, right? There's probably many people that are like right now feeling like they should take action because they're thinking and feeling like it's going to break $6,000 and things are going to get crazy, and they're sweating at their palms because they don't feel like they've accumulated enough Bitcoin, and they're scared that they're going to miss out. This is right now, even the last few weeks, really, this is when people FOMO. Like the chart that you see, there's such strong possibility for FOMO because we could leave this territory to the downside, back down 30%. It's just a possibility. So I don't take action on the upside right now. If we do go up, I'm gonna just relax and enjoy myself. So let's look at really the big question. These are the charts everybody's looking at. And if you just got here, apologies for echo. If there's echo in here, I don't have sound padding in here anymore. But here it is, right? It's kind of just that continued question of, are we here or are we here, right? And we're everybody's waiting for Bitcoin to make a move to answer that question. No matter what side of the fence you're on, you're guessing. I don't care if you've been technical an analyst for 20 years and you're the best in the world, you're guessing. Because right now, Bitcoin is a really weird area, because we don't have clear rejection like we did in this last bear market. That didn't happen. We were waiting to see if something like that would happen, but that didn't happen. This is the last bear market, 2015. I'll put 15 here. 2015, clear rejection on the weekly chart. Rejection. Entrance of the bulls, right? Now the chart kind of looks more like this now, right? So let's go to the weekly chart today. Right? So let me zoom in a little bit. And this is where I'm seeing a lot of people very bullish because of this exact picture that you see on the screen, which is this weekly candle here. We have this is the weekly chart. We have a break through the weekly 50 moving average, and now we have a new weekly candle right here, right? And if you look at that last bear market, it truly looks a lot like this area. It looks a lot like that time zone. And it's easy to look at that alone and say, well, that does it, right? We didn't get the rejection of the 50 moving average, so that answers the question. That means we're here. We're getting ready to enter the bull market. Many people are doing that. I know it. I see it. I see it on Twitter. And that's fine. But from this weekly top of this candle to this swing high, and that's a really volatile swing high, we're talking 75% to the upside, right? So many people are taking that data and they're saying, okay, let's take from this top to where we are and let's chart it 75% to the upside. Even if it's a swing high, we're at like $10,000. We can have a bull run right now, $10,000 before coming back down, consolidating back in this area. Many people are saying that, right? Now, if you're looking at that data alone, it is a possibility, right? I mean, bulls can step in. We have obviously good news happening, right, in the markets, cryptocurrency adoption, Fidelity, a couple weeks ago, TMR trade, E-Trade, all this good stuff. So something can ensue that's very bullish. However, there's other things to look at in terms of Bitcoin right now, in terms of just the weekly candles and the 50 moving average in context to those candles. So namely, if you look at when the bulls really stepped in here, you can see the consolidation that had already taken place, right, prior to that move. So all up in here, when we had this 50 moving average rejection off the weekly 50 moving average, right, Bitcoin, we're talking 30% or so to the downside. And you see the 50 moving average truly consolidate and approach the 200 moving average, right? So at the time when Bitcoin actually took off out of that bottom, there was like 10% difference at that time between the 200 moving average and the 50 moving average. So that's one picture to look at. Now, if we look at what the chart looks like here, we can say, okay, yeah, the candles look the same, right? Bitcoin's making a move. It made a move through the 50 moving average. We're trading above it on this weekly chart on the 50 moving average. But if we take it a step further and we say, okay, what do these moving averages actually look like in terms of consolidation, in terms of healthy consolidation? We don't have, I mean, look how separated the 200 moving average and 50 moving average are, right? And if we take our price range, we can just get a quick picture. 50% difference, right? So this would be an environment where Bitcoin just literally continues another 70 to 100% to the upside, which many are saying. That's with 50% difference, 50% spread here between the 200 moving average and 50 moving average. And we know when Bitcoin made its strong move out of the last bear market, there was only 10%. There was already that healthy consolidation that really springboarded Bitcoin to the upside. And that was very important. It's always important from a technical perspective to have that consolidation. We haven't had it yet. If you take the spread of the 200 moving average to this swing high where Bitcoin was rejected at the 50 moving average, then we have something similar, what we're seeing today. We have 45% spread between the 200 moving average and the 50 moving average, right? That looks more like this. So you can look at it from two perspectives. You can say, I'm bullish right now. I'm short-term bullish even because Bitcoin closed a weekly candle and is forming a new weekly candle above the 50 moving average on the weekly. I'm bullish because it's doing that. And that's what it did in that last bear market right here. And it went bullish like crazy. Or you can say, which is probably more my approach, I'm more short-term bearish because Bitcoin, from a consolidation standpoint, has some consolidation that it needs to do. And it's illustrated perfectly in the 200 moving average spread between the 50 moving average here, 50% difference here, right? And what happened when we had almost 50% difference between these two at a Bitcoin swing high out of a bear market last time? We had downside and we had healthy consolidation, much needed, to candle close 30% or so. We had a swing low of around 37%, but we can call it 30%. So I'm truly looking at the consolidation aspect of everything going on right now. I think it's really important that Bitcoin consolidates. And like I said at the beginning of this live stream, for me, that's where action is taken anyway. If Bitcoin does consolidate back down, that's where I'm actually going to do something. Going up, I'm not doing anything. Right now, I'm not doing anything. I'm completely content with my portfolio. I'm long on Bitcoin, right? We've done a ton of accumulating down here. Grateful for it. So I'm not worried about if my anticipation of further downside or a pullback doesn't happen, I'm not worried about it. And I'm extremely happy to be in that position where I really don't care if Bitcoin defies the laws of gravity. If Bitcoin defies the laws of consolidation, and we don't even get consolidation between the 50 moving average, the 200 moving average. Remember, there's 50% spread here. If Bitcoin defies that and literally just starts going up, I don't care. I will be happy. I'm not shorting Bitcoin. Though I'm short-term, bearish, I guess you could say, meaning I'm just anticipating a pullback. I think it's more likely. I'm not shorting it. So what would that look like to get that consolidation, right? The most likely area of consolidation would be Benji Jojo. I just saw you, man. For the foundation at any time of the day, 0.15 LTC. Benji, thank you so much. You need to save your LTC. Myself, LAUNCHPAD Foundation, Sarah, we truly appreciate you, dude. But you need to save your LTC. You're always super chatting LTC. You're crazy, Benji. thank you for the super chat, man. It means a lot. Pound. So this is really one of the biggest things, the spread between the 50 moving average and 200 moving average. So most likely, in my opinion, in terms of pullback, where Bitcoin might go, is the top of this ascending triangle, right? We've mentioned that before on this channel. That's my likely target. That's my beautiful accumulation area. And it normally always is, especially when we're in that very overextended area for a swing high, right? I always look to see what midterm, longer term pattern have we broken out of, and have we revisited it, right? The upper trend line of the pattern. And we've never revisited that ascending triangle. And I think it would be a great area to revisit. The other thing that plays into all these charts is the question of, and it has that similarity to the last bear market, right? So here's the daily chart now. So it's this question of $6,000, right? This is the daily chart in 2015. And the 2015 version of $6,000 was like, $310, $315. It's this orange line. That was the 2015 version of $6,000. So if you remember, this bear market, Bitcoin bounced off the $6,000. And here in the last bear market, it's bouncing off of like $315. And then it's seeing resistance at $315, right? And this resistance you see here was right at the first 50 moving average cross above the 200 moving average. So if we go to today's charts, what are we getting? We're getting a 50 moving average cross above the 200 moving average, the first one out of this bear market, and we're getting a swing high to today's version of $315 in 2015, the $6,000 area, right? So this is just another piece of the chart that plays into Bitcoin seeing heavy resistance here. Like I said, Bitcoin might defy the laws of gravity, the laws of everything I'm saying, and break $6,000 strongly. I just think it's more likely that we get consolidation. So you can look at it at the 4 hour, and the thing is, like, I saw Bitcoin trading at like 5,700. I was like, this is interesting. If we're looking at the 4 hour chart, which we're on now, it's really bounced around in this small little channel here, right? Within 5% since May 3rd, the last few days, right? There hasn't been a strong pullback to the bottom of this rising wedge. So today we were, not long ago at all, we're talking a few hours ago, I saw Bitcoin trading at like $5,700, and I told myself, this will be interesting. Like, we're really close. We've been close to $6,000 for a while. A little run to 6,000 would be I'd really be curious to see if it breaks it. And I checked my phone, and the candle's kind of cruising up, right? When I tweeted this was at 11:02 p.m. Eastern. Bitcoin getting ready to attack 6,000. I was excited because I wanted to, I literally wanted to see it. I thought it was actually going to at least wick into 6,000 territory. And I wanted to see that happen. I was just watching the charts. And then right when I tweeted this, it went up like $30 more or something. And then it just stalled out, right? And that's what you see here on the chart. So the move wasn't anything crazy, right? This 4 hour candle opened, right, so we're talking 36.84 or something. Right now, 58.84, right? So $200, it's like 3.5%. Nothing crazy is going on, but I just felt like I had to go live just because if we zoom out on the 4 hour chart, what do you see? It's just the first time Bitcoin has gotten this close to 6,000. And I wanted to kind of document this because at this moment of time, even though we haven't gone to 6,000 just yet, we were like $25 away from it, just about. And it is now the question on everybody's minds. This is now especially now, you're going to start seeing articles probably in the next few hours into tomorrow morning talking about what everybody's been talking about anyway, $6,000. It is a huge area for Bitcoin. Poseidon Lou, 999 super chat. Thanks, my dude. I hope you're doing well, man. I feel like I haven't talked to all of you in so long because I haven't been doing videos as much. I've been way too busy just with business and moving, and it's going to be like this probably for the next month. But Poseidon Lou, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Wow, we have YT Gamers with a 0.0034 BTC super chat. Keep up the great work, he says. Wow. YT Gamers, YouTube Gamers, I'm guessing. Thank you so much for the Launchpad Foundation super chat. Myself, Sarah, truly appreciate it. I feel like your screen name seems new to me, so it's awesome having you by the channel. That means a lot. It truly does, especially at this odd hour of 12 a.m. on Eastern getting super chats. You guys are ridiculous. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. We've got Toby Reeves with a $10 super chat. Dan the man, always transparent. LTC to the moon. Alice, BTC equals a new gold, but more scarce. 100% agree. Toby, thank you so much for the super chat. And LTC to the moon. I 100% agree with that one. So I haven't really been talking about LTC too much. I tweeted about it a little bit earlier. The charts look interesting, but I think this Bitcoin price of 6,000 is probably the forefront of my mind right now. But yes, LTC, Toby, thank you for the super chat. For the Launchpad Foundation, if you're new here, all super chats go to Launchpad Foundation, not in my pocket. So myself and Sarah, we appreciate you. Thanks, Toby. Mexican Charlie says, let's blast through 6K. Derry Duke, nobody can really be sure about the pullback. So 100% agree. And I just want to throw this out there. And I said this at the beginning of the live stream. I am extremely happy that I don't have to worry about guessing, because in this right now where the charts are, just crazy difficult to say. I could easily sit here, I have a strong idea that Bitcoin is going to pull back, and I could come in here with more of a conviction behind what I'm saying. The reason I don't do that is simply because I truly do not want to influence any of you. I'm sure there's some here that are new to crypto maybe and are thinking about buying, and I don't want to influence anybody into buying or selling. But I do want to be upfront and transparent about what I think, so if I do think we're going down, I do want to say that. I just don't want to offer that to you as like a prediction. But, we really do have a couple things that really help us identify whether or not Bitcoin will go up or down, right? It's definitely unknown. Nobody knows. Even the best chartists, whatever you want to call it, no. But there's definitely some things that indicate to be careful. And if we look at RSI, I think it was on the daily I was looking at. Let me see. Might have been the weekly though. Bear with me. Yeah, so and this is another thing. It makes the charts really difficult to read in this very moment. Justin Red, thanks for the $2 super chat. Says great content, first time tipper, keep it up. Justin, thank you so much, man. I'm pretty sure I recognize I'm pretty sure you've commented on a video. I try and read every comment. I try and remember names. But thank you so much for the super chat, Justin. Appreciate you super chatting. First time tipper, pound. Thank you. Look at the RSI right now. So let's first look at the RSI, the slower moving momentum oscillator on the weekly, and then we'll take a glance at the stock RSI. So, and let's kind of get this in place. This rejection at the 50 moving average that we've talked about in that last bear market on the weekly, that rejection that turned into the consolidation we needed on the RSI is right here. It's this swing high right here, right? This swing high right here is the move that short-term bullish people right now are thinking is happening, which is we're breaking through the 50 moving average and we're about to see some 100% gains, maybe a little less than 100% gains. But that's the move right there. So now let's take that on the RSI. So this is what makes it very difficult to chart. So here's the short-term bearish, right? I guess you could throw me in this camp, right? Short-term bearish, this is just one indicator that I use to play into that scenario. This consolidation that Bitcoin had right here was important. If you look at the charts, and we just did, this is the short-term bullish right here, thinking we're about to make this move. Now let's zoom out so we can actually see what Bitcoin's doing. So this is what makes it difficult to chart, is if you look at the RSI right now, Bitcoin has had an extremely strong move from that swing low, right? I didn't mean to do that. From that swing low back here in December. Extremely strong move. But the one thing it hasn't had yet is consolidation, right? So Bitcoin, same thing out of the bear market. Oversold on the RSI. Last bear market. Huge spread between the 50 moving average and 200 moving average, but it had a pullback, right? So what makes it difficult to chart this is when we thought we were getting our pullback right here on the RSI, Bitcoin just continues to go up and we just broke through the 50 moving average, right? So we had this pretty clear looking resistance if we're taking historical data, right? Literally almost identical from that last bear market, 50 moving average resistance. We were getting it in this bear market or out of this bear market. And it was so similar to right here, this move, right? These moves were so similar. And then the RSI was so similar. And then what Bitcoin's done in the last week or so is it completely kind of diverged from that. And actually we have like this little mini swing high right now. And it's making some people very, very bullish because right now the weekly candle on Bitcoin is trading above the 50 moving average. We've obviously broken kind of that area on the RSI that Bitcoin saw resistance at last time. Right, so it's diverging a little bit away, and it's making a lot of people short-term bullish now because of this, because of these gains that Bitcoin has seen. But I just want to throw this out there because I think it is important. This is when it's important, I think, to use the quicker moving oscillator. If you look at Bitcoin and you go to the weekly chart, you look at this quicker moving oscillator, this middle oscillator right here. It's very simple to get a feel for the rhythm, for the flow of Bitcoin. It's very simple. And oftentimes, all it takes is to look at, you can really look at this like the heartbeat of Bitcoin. And this is the weekly chart, right? So it's like you can literally count pretty easily, overbought territory, which is above this 80 line. You can pretty much easily count oversold territory above or below this 20 line, right? So this is the weekly chart back to 2010. So we're talking like 1, 2, 3. Let's count the big ones. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 big oversold areas for Bitcoin on the weekly chart. If you're long on Bitcoin, this is huge to look at and watch. You have to be patient with it because it's the weekly chart, but this is huge in terms of accumulating the dip. It's such an important indicator for us. And And then same thing on the upside, overbought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and now we're here on a 12th overbought. But since 2010, and this isn't me just guessing or saying anything out of the ordinary, we're zoomed out on the charts, right? So I'm trying to make these charts a little bigger. Keep your eye on the RSI. But since 2010, every time Bitcoin was overbought on the stock RSI, what did it do? I mean, they had a healthy, pretty large consolidation. And you can literally, so we just counted 12 times overbought in the stock RSI. You can open the charts on when you have time if you want. I'm not going to do it right now. And you can look at every time it was overbought, meaning in this area up here, overbought, horizontal line, 80, overbought. Every time it's up here, Bitcoin has consolidated pretty greatly on the weekly, right? So, and one of those times, and this really helps tie it all back together, one of those times of great consolidation was this 50 moving average weekly, 50 moving average on the weekly chart, pullback, right? And that was right here. Overbought. Consolidation, back down, 30% to the downside. And just to kind of tie it back together, that 30% to the downside or so, right here, back to the 200 moving average, the pink line, was very important because it took Bitcoin from a 200 moving average to 50 moving average spread of around 45%, and it consolidated it all the way back down to around 10%. Extremely healthy in the grand scheme of things for Bitcoin. That move was extremely healthy. So here we are again. We have two things. Last bear market, this spread was from the 200 moving average to 50 moving average around 45%. Well, now it's 52%. And not only that, if you look at the stock RSI, we're overbought, but we've been in overbought even longer than that pullback in that last move, in that last bear market we just looked at. It's actually, out of every time we've been overbought on the stock RSI, it's actually one of the longest that we've been this overbought. And that's extremely important to be aware of right now. It's extremely important. It doesn't guarantee that we're going to get a pullback. I just want to throw that out there, but it makes it that much more likely. So when I'm, sometimes tweeting the unpopular opinion that we're going to get a pullback because of all this data that I'm talking about right now, important data, I'm not just doing it because I'm like, I want to be short-term bearish or I want to be, like some type of buzzkill in after these awesome gains. It's just because of the charts. It's because of the momentum and the long-term rhythm of Bitcoin. A pullback plays into this long-term rhythm of Bitcoin. Are we entering a new age, right? A new era where Bitcoin just literally defies its chart. It defies its rhythm. It defies its own heartbeat and doesn't even care, right, about the consistency of the stock RSI, the consistency of the RSI, and it literally just goes crazy. Yeah, I guess it is possible, right? And that would be actually really fun to watch and to do live streams about. I just have a feeling it's more likely that Bitcoin will consolidate. And so, if Bitcoin does consolidate, like I said, on the daily chart, we can get a really good idea of potentially where it would consolidate to. So here's the daily charts. So we can take where Bitcoin's trading right now. Obviously, if Bitcoin does see downside, I think there's a bug on me. If Bitcoin does see downside, obviously we'll talk about 50 moving average for 50 moving average for first support. Definitely look at the 200 moving average, but ultimately for me, I have my eye on that $4,000 area. The top of this trend line of this ascending triangle would be a huge area of accumulation for myself and something to really watch out for. Now, on the daily chart, that might not look the most pretty thing, right? It would look a lot like the daily chart from the last bear market. Just ugly, right? That's really ugly. Swing high to swing low, including wicks, like almost 40%. That wasn't fun, but at the end of the day, this, in terms of history, was one of the best times to accumulate, and you only had a couple months to do so, Bitcoin. It was a beautiful dip to buy, and I want to be ready in case something like that happens again. And that would look something like this right here. It will be a beautiful dip to buy. I will be buying it. I think it's important to be ready for it. And yeah, so on the daily chart, maybe kind of looks ugly, but on the weekly chart, it looks healthy and it looks good. And you get a really clear picture of that in the last bear market. Because what does it do? It shows you the consolidation and the importance of it in terms of propelling Bitcoin into a bull market. And that's what everybody wants. I'm sure that's what most of you all want, is a bull market. So that consolidation oftentimes, most often, is extremely important to get what you want. You just have to be patient. So these are the charts. This is what I'm looking at. Right now, Bitcoin just chilling, 5,888. Before I head out, I'm curious, what do you all think? Press 1 if you're short-term bullish and Bitcoin is just going to go crazy. Press 2 if you're short-term bearish or you think we're getting a pullback like I do. I'm curious. Press 1 if you're bullish. Press 2 if you're short-term, time for a pullback. Lots of 2s. Poseidon Lou with the smash the likes for Dan. I love it. Dude, thank you, Poseidon Lou. Smash those likes, everybody. We have like so many 2s. Many people anticipating a pullback. Would be the most incredible thing if Bitcoin does not consolidate. I will be extremely surprised. I'll be the first one to come on here and say, wow, my little anticipation of a downside pullback was wrong. And I'll enjoy the ride. I think we're going to get a pullback. We have some 1s. Poseidon Lou says sideways. Daniel says to the moon. Michael Britt, Dan, your advice and logic is sound. Pull back inbound, buy the dips, people, and smash that like button. Heck yes. Thanks, Michael. Steven, what's up? Steven Herzog, my man. What's up, dude? Thank you so much for coming by, dude. Always awesome to see you. Really is. And I think you'll be at one of these events in Jersey soon that we'll be at. I think I'm actually going to finally meet you, my dude. So that's it, everybody. The biggest thing, and I'll leave you with this, that I'm most interested in terms of these charts right now is on the weekly chart, this spread between the 200 moving average, 50 moving average, 50% spread. I feel like it needs some consolidation first. We have the spread back in the last bear market. So similar to this swing high in the last bear market to the 50 moving average. 44%, but very close. And what happened? We got the consolidation. Will it happen again? I don't know, but it's a question that I posed in this live stream because I think it's going to be really cool to see the answer. We can't see the future, so we don't know the answer yet, but we can be patient and we will find out what's going to happen. Appreciate all of you. Just if you're here right now, throwing this out there. I mentioned earlier we're getting ready to move. The next month is going to be ridiculously insane. I haven't been doing videos as much just because I've been very busy running business and, moving. But I promise you, I'm already getting stuff for the new studio at our new house, and I'm going to make this channel good for all of you all. Going to have some fun with it. So be patient with me. Follow me on Twitter if you're on Twitter. Appreciate you coming by this weird hour on a Tuesday. Let's see what happens. Bitcoin, what will happen? Nobody knows, but be prepared for anything. You all are awesome. Have an awesome Tuesday. If you're not here and you're not a subscriber, hit this subscribe button right now. I would love to have you as part of the channel. Thank you so much for coming by. Have a great rest of the night, and God bless.